Well, I'm just enjoying a cup of coffee with a few of my new best friends. So what do you guys want to do for lunch today? Rubio's? You always want Rubio's MFK700? Okay, so many of you probably have heard that Festool is releasing 3 new products. They have 2 new routers, these 2 guys, and the MFT3, which is their new multifunction table. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what features might be new and different about these products. And the bottom line is, I keep getting a lot of questions about it. A lot of folks know that I've had these for a while and have had some time to play with them. So I think it's good timing now that they're actually available to show you what makes these a little bit different. It's not going to be completely comprehensive. It's just going to give you an idea of what makes these tools so great. So let's jump right into it. So first up is the OF2200. It's 2200 watts. That puts it in about the 3 horsepower class of routers. This thing is powerful. I mean, it's kind of like a shaper upside down. So it's key with a motor that has that much kick that you have a soft start mechanism. Unfortunately, this one does. So it slowly ramps up to speed instead of immediately jerking into its highest speed, and you'll lose control if that happens. This allows you to completely maintain control throughout the cut. A couple other notable features. Built into the handle is the locking mechanism for the plunge action. A lot of routers have a locking mechanism that only locks on one column. And eventually what winds up happening is the motor gets sort of locked in place and then goes slightly out of position. It sort of gets a little bit skewed. So by locking on both columns, you prevent that from happening. It just locks true every single time. Okay, a few other things to note. The turret stops. That's pretty standard. You see, these are pretty much on every plunge router. But what makes this different? There's 2 things. First of all, the adjustment. Every click here is 1/10 of a millimeter. That's 1/256th of an inch. That's tiny. Okay. They also have this great feature, which is the first time I've seen this on a router. Well, let me explain. When you're routing a profile, for instance, you know how you sometimes don't get an absolute perfect cut. You just wish you can go just a hair more to get that cleanup cut. Well, they have a 1 millimeter stopped turret here, so you can actually set it up, do your final pass, or your second to last pass, and then make that final adjustment, drop it down that 1 step, which I think is about 1 millimeter, and that gives you that final last pass to give you a perfect clean cut. It's a really nice feature just to have it built in like that. A few other things, the ratcheting collet, that's pretty standard on all Festool routers. Okay, so single wrench operation. It's actually a lot easier on your wrists. That's really convenient too. Dust collection. Let's hit that real quick. What makes this unit different? Well, first of all, you've got the dust collection port in the back here, and then you can see this ring sort of isolates the routing chamber essentially and helps the dust collection be that much more effective. But you see, you plunge down a little bit. This might be the average working height. You still have about a 1/2 inch of clearance here where air can get in and actually reduce the amount of, or the effectiveness of the dust collection. Well, they came up with a really cool feature, again, another first. This little spring-loaded chamber drops down and closes that space up. Okay, so now you've essentially completely isolated the routing chamber, which means all that dust and debris right up through the top, which is pretty darn cool. A couple other things real quick. The ergonomics. It's offset. The motor is offset from the base by 30 degrees. Okay, you can see if I put my edge guide in here, the orientation of this, you can see the way the motor is tilted. The reason for that is if you think about it, when you use this, you'll know. That's the way our body wants to be positioned when we run this stuff. We never want to be perfectly parallel or perfectly perpendicular to the workpiece. We always want to be slightly skewed, and that's where that 30 degrees comes in. It's something you may not even realize when you're using it, but all of a sudden you go, wow, this is really comfortable to run this thing. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is the quick change toolless change bases here. There's a little lever, just pull that, bases pop right off. They have a whole bunch of accessory bases that you can use. For instance, this one, if you need extra wide support, you just pop it in and your new base is in place. And this works for every type of base attachment that they have, whether you're using template guides, if you're using the little swiveling dust collection cup that goes on the bottom, everything connects this way. It's incredibly fast, incredibly convenient. So really, really nice features. All right, now this is actually, I have to admit, this is probably my new favorite toy at this point, and maybe toy is the wrong word. This is a very powerful and extremely versatile little router, okay? In this position, it just looks like a laminate trimmer, but that's just really scratching the surface of what this thing can do. And to be honest, I haven't had it long enough and haven't done enough woodworking lately to really exhaust the possibilities of what this thing can do. First of all, you got your variable speed, and I think probably one of the most notable things about it is how quick you could change bases with no tools, okay? Just pops in place, turn the knob, and you're locked down and ready to go. A few other things to point out before I go into more detail on the bases. You see the fine adjustment up here? That's again the 100 or 1 and 256 of an inch adjustment, 1/10 of a millimeter. Now, what really makes this unit different and where it shines, at least in my opinion, is with this base. Okay, the standard base just reminds me of most laminate trimmers in terms of you know, just the base operation and what you would do with it. You've got your dust collection port built in, which is actually pretty effective. The adjustment right here, okay, the handle actually locks in place, and then you could turn the knob and get your fine adjustment from there, lock it down, and you're ready to go, okay? This base, the other guy, is actually my favorite. Now, in my edge banding episode a while back, I explained that I never use a power tool just because it's too much work or not dependable enough. I never use power tools to trim solid wood edging on plywood. It just never works out for me, so I always use a block plane. Well, now that's actually changed, and I'll tell you why. This base allows the router to be run horizontally. Not only that, but what happens here, you'll notice, oh, maybe it won't because it's a very slight amount, but this base is mounted to the unit and puts the actual motor on a 1 degree slope. I think it's about 1 degree. If not, it's very close. It's a very small amount. So what happens is this router bit, when it engages, that trim is actually sloping a little bit away. So the chances of gouging your veneer are slim to none. And that's the reason why I never used the power tool to trim edge banding, because I was always afraid I was going to ruin my veneer, and I have in the past. And I also can be, you know, it can also be risky just to use a block plane too. This is almost dummy proofs the entire application, so or the entire operation. So if you do a lot of edge banding on ply, this is definitely going to be a great investment for you. So let me show you how that's done real quick. Okay. First of all, you want to install the horizontal sloped base, right? Second thing you want to install, which makes the operation really, really, again, dummy proof, for lack of a better word, is the installation of this bearing guide. Okay, this stops us from going in any deeper than we absolutely need to. So it's a very controlled operation. It doesn't require you to get down and look from underneath. Once you have it all set in place, you just whip it right around the workpiece and it's done. So let me attach that with these two little screws. In fact, this is just about the only thing that requires a tool. So with the bearing system attached, this little knob loosens it, and you could actually move it in whatever position you want it to be. Okay. The only other thing that I'm going to add to this is one of the dust collection shrouds that you can add to it, but it's not for this operation. The one I'm going to add is this guy. See, the chamber is wide open up here, and that's where all the chips are going to want to go. So this guy, again, toolless, pops right in place, snaps into position, and then you just lock it down. Dust collection right through here. So the first thing I do is I use the micro adjuster, and I make sure that the tip of my bit is at what visually looks to be the same height as my base, because really that's what I want. I want it to be nice and smooth. Okay, so that's my starting point. I usually do a little test area first just to make sure I've got it where I want it, and I lock everything down, make any adjustments I need to before that point, lock everything down, and then boom, you just go through your entire project. So let me just double check my adjustment, and then I'll clear off the entire piece. Okay, that actually looks perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the entire strip. So that, my friends, is pretty cool. And for someone who does a lot of work, casework with solid wood edging, huge time saver for me, big time. Now the final thing we'll take a look at here is the MFT3. It's the new and improved multifunction table. Now there's a lot of similarities to the old table, and a few things that make this one new and better, and just learning with time, the little improvements that they make here and there are just dramatic. The fence system is probably one of the most notable changes. Very easy, just a couple things get loosened and you can move this fence just about anywhere you need it to go. The fence is also adjustable so that you could flip it up to support thicker work pieces. The adjustment back here, I mean, this is amazing. The other system locked into the holes on the top of the MFT, so your unit here was pretty much locked in place. This guy allows you to pretty much move it anywhere you need it to go. Any angle you need to go, any location on the table that you need to go. And your fence pretty much, well, you can move it if you want to, but for the most part stays in the same place, at least the way I use it. You've got these nice stops here, so no matter what your work height is, you could use the adjustable stop there. And the clamping mechanism on the side is actually new. It's sort of a V clamping system instead of well, on the other one it was more of a T-track kind of thing, but this V clamping system is amazing. I mean, it really, really allows you to crank down without much pressure, you're able to get a really good grip and a nice tight secure fit for accessories and all those wonderful things. So, and probably one of the most notable changes that you'll notice first off if you ever use the other table is the fact that this one is now taller. I'm not sure whether there's just been a lot of requests for that, but I know personally I've seen a lot of pictures on the web of people who use blocks on the bottom of the feet of the old 1080 and the smaller unit. So I guess it makes sense. If everybody wants it, make it taller. For me, I think it is actually a more comfortable working height. The other one, like I said, is about, I don't know, it looks like it's about an inch or two, maybe 2 to 3 inches lower. So pretty significant. But all in all, pretty standard multifunction table, which is, when you get into it, it's amazing stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with what looks like a simple fold-away table with an MDF top, but it's a lot more than that. So it's definitely, I don't want to go into all the details here today, but it's something for you to look into. Now, Festool has microsites set up for each one of these products that you could check out on their website, and I'll make sure I have the links available for you. They go into painful detail about everything you might want to know about these products, much more than I'm able to do for you today. So hopefully, at the very least, if you're interested in this inspires you to go take a look and find out what you could see what you can see on the Festool website. Now, I mentioned earlier that the MFK700 is quickly becoming my absolute favorite tool in the Festool line, or at least one of my favorites. And it's basically because it solves a major problem for me, and that's trimming that edge banding quickly, accurately, safely, with minimal, hardly any dust at all getting into the air. So that's a pretty big deal, and I think if you do work similar to what I do, you do a lot of casework and things like that where you have to trim laminate or solid material, you're going to love this tool. The reason I'm bragging about it so much is because, fortunately, the MFK700 is the item that we're giving away for the Fescool giveaway in May. So head over to the giveaway page and fill out that little form, answer the challenge question, and enter to win an MFK700. And not this one, because this one's mine and you can't have it. But fortunately, it'll be a brand new one that you get from Festool. So I'd like to quickly thank Festool for sponsoring all these contests that we do on a monthly basis. It's incredible to have that opportunity to give away really high quality tools for free. Just can't beat that. So thanks for watching. Please go over to festoolusa.com, check out these products, check out the microsites, and if you do decide to invest in one, any one of these three, I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. And you can brag to your friends too.